All right, we are officially recording. Welcome back to the second episode of the Vendetta Sports Fantasy Show. Still don't have a creative title, but this works for now. Today we have a new guest. We have, as I said before, we're going to have rotating people in, so who's ever available that day. They're just going to join in, hopefully 3 to 5 people each time. Chad Bauman joins the second episode. What's going on, Chad?
What's going on? Nothing much. Just been watching a shit ton of fucking anime and playing FIFA.
My man.
I respect that.
Just trying to keep myself sane during the quarantine. That's all.
That's gross. But
Oh my gosh.
I respect the FIFA move. Again, we have Scotty Logush, Canada's own, in the house, and Alex Chick. So the three guys from last time are back, along with Chad, and I am Trey Daubert. We have a good show for you guys today. Topic number one, and I'm going to let you guys go first because I'm going to tell you why each of you are wrong. PPR versus standard leagues. Let's go with Chad here because he's joining. What do you got? What's your stance on this?
Oh, fuck out of here with that PPR shit, man. That's
Okay. There we go.
like PPR's whack. Like, you got to rely on just touching the fucking ball to get your points. That takes no skill. You have guys that are going to get drafted in the first round, and they're just going to try to force feed them the ball 20 times a game just because it's trying to fucking make the pick pan out. That takes no skill.
Thank you, Chad, for being the one sane mind here. Let's go to Alex. What do you have?
I mean, I don't mind PPR that much. I mean, I think, yes, yards and touchdowns are obviously important, but, you know, if you think about how many receptions a wide receiver is going to get or how many targets he's going to get, I don't know, it adds another layer for me. It adds another layer. Obviously, it's a sore spot for some of y'all, but it's okay. But, you know, I like PPR. I don't mind it.
Scott, what do you have?
So I've had experience with both, and PPR has broken my heart more, so give me standard.
Oh, well, I thought I had someone on my side here. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
This is solely because I hate going against Michael Thomas because he gets force-fed the ball every fucking game.
Well, let me also add to that. Fucking, y'all remember when Percy Harvin came into the league with Minnesota, like, outside of kickoffs, he couldn't do anything. It was like, okay, Percy Harvin, we're going to try to give him the screen pass 4 times a game. That's 4 points, but he got, like, -5 yards on four touches. Like, it's bullshit.
That's the thing. I don't think you should get a whole point for just catching the ball.
Well, this takes a little bit of a steam out of my argument here because I thought somebody would be in favor of PPR.
We got one.
I don't mind PPR. Yeah, I'll do PPR all day. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. Well, I'm going to hammer you, Alex, because this is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. First of all, PPR makes absolutely no sense. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Quarterbacks don't get points for completions. Running backs don't get points for getting handoffs. Why should a wide receiver then get points for catching the ball when those two positions don't? And let's also point to the fact that, again, most leagues, our league does not, but most leagues, quarterback, he loses points if he throws an interception. He loses points if he fumbles. Running back, he loses points if he fumbles. Why doesn't then a wide receiver lose points if he drops the ball? You can't have it.
He loses points if he fumbles. I mean,
hold on. Why are we handing out points for a catch and not a drop? Because we're handing out no points for a completion on a quarterback who's throwing the ball there. So to me, this makes absolutely no sense. It's dog shit rule, and there's no reason why James White should ever be playable in fantasy.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, I don't mind it. It's another thing that I have to consider when I'm playing a fantasy league if it's PPR.
Well,
it's not. Oh well.
Trey should just make one little caveat with James White. It's not that he shouldn't be playable. He should never be a mainstay starter in your lineup. Whereas PPR, this guy's getting fucking 10 points at least a game because they're just handing him, giving the ball like little short dink and dunk screens out of the background.
Nothing's worse than watching Tom Brady throw a 2-yard pass to James White and it goes 2 yards. Oh, I got 12 points. Great. Stupid. It's dog shit.
I had a real shitty experience with PPR, so
it's dog shit.
Give me standard.
If you guys want to know what a real man's league is, you got to play IDP leagues, individual defensive player leagues. That'll put some fucking hair on your chest.
I did that one time, and everyone got mad at me that I was doing individual players. Like, I had defensive linemen, I had linebackers, I had corners, and they all hated me for doing it. It's like, it's way too complicated. And I was like, Well, I mean,
there's some shitty people.
Well, I mean, you have to actually know football. I did one time. I had Ray Lewis, Lamar Woodley, and Bart Scott when he was good as my linebackers.
Lamar Woodley, that's a throwback.
That is. Holy shit.
Yeah, I was in high school, so yeah, it was a while ago.
So what we can do is some kind of defense or individual defensive player argument for the next show on Monday or Wednesday, whenever we next record. But let's jump into the rookies here, what we have scheduled. We're going to save the tight ends for last because they don't normally contribute in year one anyway. Let's throw it over to Scotty here. Who is your year one instant best rookie wide receiver in fantasy?
Okay, so I had two prepared just in case you guys still want, but since I'm going first, I'll go with Jerry Judi. Went to the Broncos, and Drew Lock is an ascending quarterback who showed a lot of promise at the end of last season. And also, it's clear he will be at least the number 2 wide receiver on that team. And big frame, 6'1", 32 and an 1/8-inch arms. So he has an insane catch radius. Plus, he's a great route runner, so he'll be able to get college open, which is a few feet in the NFL, which means Drew Lock he's not going to hesitate. He's going to see it, oh, that's open. That's what I'm used to in college. So he's going to throw the pass, giving Jerry Judi the opportunity to catch the ball and gain yards.
Alex?
I got to go with Justin Jefferson. And this really just goes to the departure of Stephon Diggs. But just because Stephon Diggs is gone, now you got Justin Jefferson. He just goes straight to that number 2 spot. Adam Thielen's probably going to get more targets and everything. And I'm not saying Justin Jefferson's going to be any Stephon Diggs, but for this year, I think he's going to be the best year one starter.
Chad?
I had two, like Scotty did, but I think since he said Judi, my other one's going to be CeeDee Lamb. I think he's the best wide receiver in the draft class. Him going to Dallas, like, who the fuck are you going to cover? Like, who? Amari Cooper? Michael Gallup's fantastic. I mean, plus you have the run game in Dallas. Their offensive line is going to give Dak the quarterback to be named later all day to throw the ball. It's going to be insane. There's not – I mean, who do you cover in that offense? There's going to be plenty of just times where CeeDee Lamb is just going to clean up just because everybody else is covered, and you've got, like, your second-rate corner or potentially even a fucking linebacker if he lines up in the slot covering this guy.
That's a mismatch.
Yeah, the answer I have is Jerry Judi, but I expected somebody to say him. What I will add is when it comes to rookie wide receivers, you really shouldn't expect the first half impact. Even last year, DK Metcalf, it took him like 6 weeks to get going. A.J. Brown took him 6 weeks to get going. Deebo Samuel didn't really help me at all until like the fantasy playoffs. So the one thing I would add is you can't really count on these guys till late in the year. So I wouldn't overspend or overreach for them right away. Now we can get into some debates here because I'm sure somebody picked a bust so that we can go back and forth here. Chad, who is your bust rookie wide receiver?
Oh, I have two for you.
Let's hear them.
Do you just want one or do you just want two?
Both.
First one, sorry, Alex, but
my God, here we go.
Henry Ruggs, I'm sorry. It's not really anything to do so much with Henry Ruggs because I think with his skill set, I think in the right place, he's going to be he would be a great player. I just think at this point, Jay Gruden and Mike Mayock, whoever their GM is, they're just like throwing darts at the board right now and just hoping something sticks. In my opinion, with CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Judi on the board at, what'd they pick, 11, 10?
12, I think.
12? You got to go with the best. If you're first of all, I always say go with the best player available. And the best player available at number 12 was the best wide receiver in the draft class in CeeDee Lamb, and they picked Henry Ruggs, who, in my opinion, he's a little bit more specialized than Jerry Judi and CeeDee Lamb are going to be. So I just think that him just being a little bit more specialized, not that he's not a great talent, but him being more specialized and just all of the issues that the Raiders have going on, the fact that they took 400 wide receivers in the draft, I just think it's not going to work out for him. My second guy, he's at home.
Hold on. Let me jump in with mine, and then let's give Alex a chance to give a little bit of a rebuttal here because he's a big-time Raiders fan. My pick is also Henry Ruggs, and it's a different answer. My answer is because I don't think Derek Carr can get him the ball. This is a guy that threw the ball constantly to Darren Waller. He was a check down machine, and all of his targets went to Waller, and none of his targets went to deep targets down the field. I think really in this offense, Henry Ruggs is going to be a decoy. He's going to be the guy that says he's going to stretch the field and he's going to open up everything else. I think Waller gets more targets. I think this helps Hunter Renfrow. I don't think it really helps Henry Ruggs. And I think in year one, I think he's too small. I don't know, maybe he pans out. But in year one, I think he's John Ross. Alex?
Okay. There's a lot. That was a lot to.
Oh, can I say one thing?
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
No. This is actually to benefit from your point. This is actually a counter to what Trey said.
Okay.
A little bit. I don't think you can look at Derek Carr being a check down machine last year necessarily for Henry Ruggs, just because if you look, what was it, like 2016, 2015, when Amari Cooper was still with the fucking Raiders? I don't remember exactly. 16. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had Michael Crabtree, who was your intermediate threat, and they had Amari Cooper, who was your deep threat, and he was laying the ball out for Amari Cooper. So I think Derek Carr, he wants to go deep. Like everything in his soul is saying, chuck that motherfucker as far as I can. But they didn't have anybody to do that with last year. Your best wide receiver was Hunter Renfrow, and he's not running deep.
Well, one thing I'll add is Derek Carr, terrible cold weather quarterback.
Yes, he is. I will say that.
His stats are horrendous in the cold, and to be honest with you, if you're looking for a guy that's going to help you, you want somebody that can help you in the fantasy playoffs. And when that temperature is cold, can he get him the ball during those bad weather games when it really counts in fantasy? I don't think the answer to that is yes. Alex, go ahead.
Okay. To be fair, I didn't think Henry Ruggs was going to be a good fantasy option this year, just because, yes, the Raiders did draft 4,000 wide receivers. But as you said earlier, Chad, they had no one to throw to. They had Hunter Renfrow and an injured Tyrell Williams. And then they were supposed to have Antonio Brown. I don't want to get into that. But, yeah, that was a whole thing, too. So, I mean, the third best wide receiver on the Raiders, I mean, you could take a pick. You could throw your dart out. He was throwing a guy named Rico Gafford last year. I mean, so, yes, there's not going to – Henry Ruggs, they upgraded. They drafted. They upgraded the wide receiver position. I think Henry Ruggs won't be that good as a fantasy option, but I don't think he's a bust necessarily. I just think there's a lot of mouths to feed in Oakland. You got Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Oh, yeah, PPR. Never mind. You guys don't do PPR. You got Waller, though. You got Waller. You got Lynn Bowden, whatever his name is. He's kind of like he's your gadget type player. Hunter Renfrow's still there. Tyrell Williams is finally healthy. Braylon Edwards, not Braylon. What's his name?
You don't even know the guys in your own damn team.
I forgot. It's a first name. I look at those names on the back. His
probably suck. That's why.
No, whatever. I don't want to talk to y'all anymore. Go on. Next point. I don't like this game.
So what I heard out of Alex is he basically says Henry Ruggs isn't going to be good in fantasy and conceded. So Scott,
not that bad. Not that bad. He's not going to be.
Did you want to hear my number two?
Let's go to Scott because he hasn't chimed in a while. Then let's hear Chad's second guy.
I'm just going to say one thing on Henry Ruggs. If they use him as the first wide receiver taken in the draft.
Oh, we were done.
I'm not going to completely crap on him. I'm just going to say if they try to use him as the number one wide receiver taken in the draft, he's not going to work because he doesn't have that type of skill set. Now, if they use him as their designated deep threat,
which he is.
Yes. Yeah, but that's if they use him that way because they might feel the need to justify taking him ahead of a Jerry Judi. So if they try to force him to be their number one, it's not going to work out. But if they let him just be the deep threat, there's a chance it could work out.
And that's what I think they were doing when they drafted 4 wide receivers. Like, everyone's got their kind of role in the team. He might be a deep zone threat, touchdown threat like DK Metcalf was. But, of course, I don't think he's going to be that good. But I'm just saying it could be a possibility.
Scott, do you have a pick here for your bust?
Yeah, I got a pick. Bust would be T. Higgins. The Bengals took him. And the reason I'm saying this is I don't see him having a way to see the field. You have A.J. Green, you have Tyler Boyd, you have whatever the hell you want to make of John Ross, and you have Auden Tate. So you have 3 receivers, Tate being the third, that I'd say are better than Higgins right now. And you have John Ross, who he was doing okay before he got hurt. So I just don't see T. Higgins having the chance to see the field. And when you can't see the field, you're not going to do anything in fantasy.
Now, Chad, he's on your fantasy team, so I'd love for you to have the chance to argue with Scott and then give your second pick.
I mean, as far as John Ross is concerned, I'm not worried about him at all. His all he is speed. Like, don't get me wrong, he's fast as hell.
Kills.
But speed does kill. But so does actually being able to catch the ball and get open, which he doesn't do. I'm not worried about him at all, taking away from T. Higgins. I mean, AJ Green, obviously, there's a threat to T. Higgins' production there, but at the end of the day, I mean, when's the last time AJ Green played more than 8 games in a season? I think that's all that pick was. That was insurance, because you can't count on AJ Green. You cannot expect him to be there for you 16 games plus the playoffs. And then, I mean, as far as Tyler Boyd, yeah, he did come on big last year. He stepped up and he filled those shoes left by AJ Green big time. But like I said, I'm not worried about him not being able to see the field at all.
Chad, do you have a second pick here now? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. This is a little bit of a hometown pick. Jalen Reagor. I super bust potential with that one. And not necessarily because I don't think he's not qualified to play in the NFL. He's just not worth the first-round pick. Not at all. You could have had him potentially even in the third round, and they took him at 20. I don't even remember what fucking pick they had. 21, 24. So I mean, not to mention the Eagles' biggest problem all of last year and the year before was drops. This guy is he comes into the league with a known drop issue, and then his comp is
Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar, a Raider now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thank
you for that. Thank you.
We traded Nelson Aguilar for Nelson Aguilar. That's why I don't think that it's. I hope, as an Eagles fan, I hope he has the best season of any rookie wide receiver ever. I hope he breaks all the records. Don't see it happening, though.
Yeah, that one's a tough one for me just because his quarterback situation is by far the best. He's going to step into an offense as a first-round pick with Carson Wentz on a team that needs weapons. You're talking about a great situation. The problem is I just don't know about the talent, as what you said.
I've been hurt before. I just can't.
I've been hurt before.
I cannot put my faith in a first-round wide receiver taken by the Eagles. I just can't do it. I've been hurt too many times for that. Nelson Aguilar. Who else?
Arcega-Whiteside was a great one.
Freddie. Well, that was in first round. Freddie Mitchell in the first round. We got one play out of Freddie Mitchell, and that was it. That was 4th and 26, and nothing after that. We spent a first-round pick on 4th and 26. That's it.
All right, let's jump into the next one here. Best long-term rookie, third round or later, somebody that you're going to draft and stash here, keep for a while, and then down the road he's going to help you. Alex, what do you have here?
All right, now I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to say Bryan Edwards. Yes, I remembered, actually. It's Bryan Edwards. He's a big guy. He reminds, he's drawing comparisons to Anquan Bolden. He's got, he has great size. He can block, he can catch, he can do it all. He's just not going to – I don't think he'll pan out right away. But as soon as the Raiders figure out which wide receivers they want to go with, I think long-term he might be a really good option.
Scott, what do you have?
Going with Antonio Gandy-Golden, wide receiver taken in the 4th round by the Redskins. And this is partly due to the competition he has. So you have Scary Terry, number 1 wide receiver. I think we can all agree on that. But ahead of him on the depth chart currently is Steven Sims Jr., undrafted free agent 2019. And then Kelvin Harmon, 6th round pick in 2019 from the 2019 draft. And so Scary Terry is also going to take attention away from Gandy Golden. He's going to draw the double coverage. He's going to draw the number 1 corner. And also, Gandy Golden, he may have ran 4.6, but he also had a 36-inch vert, very solid hands, physical receiver. I believe he put up over 20 reps on the bench press, and 6'4" with 31 and 3/4-inch arms. So he has a massive catch radius. And Dwayne Haskins, he's not the most mobile, but he's not afraid to take shots. Might not be the best decisions, but if you have a receiver with a big catch radius, he can help compensate for that and come down with some of those 50-50 balls.
Chad?
I've talked about this guy before on our podcast, Trey, the lead word, Keyshawn Vaughn. I wanted him in fantasy. Unfortunately, your dad already had him.
Wait. They're supposed to be talking about wide receivers here, Chad.
Oh, is it only wide receivers? I thought it was.
Well,
I thought it said 3rd round pick.
Well, if you want to jump in here with a running back, sure. But we talked about running backs.
It says best long-term rookie QB running back selected in the 3rd round. I thought that's what we're doing.
That was last time, bud.
That was last time.
Man, you didn't get with the times.
Well, that was sent on June 3rd. Was that already done?
Today's the 4th.
Today's the 5th.
Today's the 5th, bud.
I didn't realize you had already done a show. I didn't realize you had already done that. Okay. I didn't prepare then.
Okay. How about I'll give my pick, and then you can kind of try to find a receiver here in the 3rd round or later. I will go with Van Jefferson, and I don't even really like the situation. I just love the talent. I think he's the best route runner in the draft. Jared Goff, I don't love, but I think after the Brandon Cooks trade, he can kind of slide in as that 3rd wide receiver. He's somebody that can line up inside or outside, line up all over the field. And you know what? Sean McVay, they found a way to keep 3 wide receivers relevant in the past. Robert Woods somehow continues to be fantasy relevant. Cooper Kupp continues to be fantasy relevant. Goff doesn't have to be great because Jefferson's a guy that just gets open.
I like it.
Chad, anybody? Or we can move on if you don't have anybody.
No. You know what? I got one. Trey, this is actually for your team. I just lost it.
Does he come from the University of Texas?
Yes, he does. I can't. Where did he go? I'm sorry. I can't read, so.
Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay. The reason why I like him is because the Ravens right now, they're pretty much set at their wide receiver position. They got they got a ton of guys, but he fits their system perfectly with what they did last year. Basically, their wide receivers are run as far downfield as you can and get as open as you can. And if Lamar doesn't take off and run, then the ball's coming your way. I think he has enough speed where he fits that offense perfectly. So he could be somebody who gets a lot of long catches for them next year. Or not next year, in the future, I should say.
Yeah, I think with any of these guys, they're all dart throws. You never really know. So not a ton of big arguments to be had here. Rookie tight end that could turn into your Darren Waller, your Mark Andrews, your Jimmy Graham, because rookie tight ends, they really don't do anything as rookies. But down the road in the future, Chad, we'll start with you here. What do you have for your rookie tight end that's going to be very fantasy relevant?
Oh, I love this guy. It's Thad Moss. I know he didn't get drafted, but he did sign. Who did he sign with? I don't remember.
Washington.
The reason why I love Thad Moss so much is because he's not the fastest tight end, I'll admit that. But this guy, he runs routes that are crispier than a KFC bucket. He gets open like nobody's business. He catches the ball. Probably the best hands, I would say, in this tight end class. And, I mean, there's a reason why. He's Randy Moss's son. So, Thad Moss, that's my guy.
Scott?
I'm going with Josiah DeGuara, tight end for the Green Bay Packers. And this is mainly because he doesn't have great competition in front of him. He has Mercedes Lewis, James Looney, Robert Tonyan, and Jace Sternberger. So he has those guys to beat out on the Green Bay tight end chart. He ran a 4.72, might not be the fastest, 6'2", 230, 238. Might not be the biggest, but linebackers in that division, they're 6'1" or below. Roquan Smith, 6'1". Gerard Davis for the Lions, 6'1". Eric Kendricks for the Vikings, 6 foot. So he has the height advantage over them. And in college, he may not have lit it up. 39 catches, 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. He had 1 rushing touchdown. But given time to develop, and with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, very accurate quarterback. Now, he may have led the league in throwaways, but Aaron Rodgers can still get it done. When he needs to complete a pass, he will. And he tries to trust his tight ends. He tried to trust Jimmy Graham. He went to him on a crucial play against the Eagles, I believe. And in the end zone, Graham just dropped it. If Jimmy Graham catches that touchdown, we're singing a different tune about Jimmy Graham. So I feel Josiah DeGuara later down the road could become a great tight end.
Alex?
I'm gonna go with Chad on this one. It's Thad Moss. Kind of the same thing as Scott said, though, for the same reason. There's really no one ahead of him. Yes, you have an aging Vernon Davis. I mean, he could still play, but then you got Jeremy Sprinkle ahead of him, and I mean, he's not that relevant to where you're like, oh, okay, Thad Moss has no chance to contribute right away for the Redskins. I think Thad Moss, you throw him in, he's got the route running, as Chad said, and you know what, he could step in after Vernon Davis is gone, and you know what, can contribute a lot for the Redskins.
My pick would also be Thad Moss, and the reason is because I just love the landing spot more than anything else. Not only does Washington really not have a tight end, I think he'll start right away. They don't have anything else. It's Terry McLaurin and nothing. As Scott said, Gandy Golden could be a breakout candidate. Why couldn't Thad Moss be the secondary target here in Washington on an offense that should get better with a stable head coach? So I think that's the answer. Now, I do want to debate Scott here a little bit because I wouldn't just throw away Jay Sternberger. They also picked him in the third round. Yes, he didn't do anything as a rookie, but he's a big target. 6'5", Texas A&M, pretty athletic. I wouldn't just say, and I like DeGuara, I wouldn't just say that's an automatic start for DeGuara. Would you be concerned about that?
I'm not saying it's an automatic start. I'm just saying it's not a total lock that DeGuara is going to be second string because it's Jay Sternberger. I feel it's going to be a solid competition between the two in camp. And one thing to add to everyone's point about Thad Moss, and Alex, you said Vernon Davis is around. He actually retired.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah, he did like a retirement video with like James Harrison.
I don't keep up with the Redskins.
Well, this happened in February.
I'm in Texas. They're in Washington. I don't keep up with them. They're an ass team anyway.
So Vernon Davis, he is officially gone.
So there's no one there. They got Jeremy Sprinkle, and that's it. I got Jeremy Sprinkle, okay? You're welcome.
Jeremy Sprinkle in and of itself is a good pull. I'm not going to lie.
All right, moving on. I think this segment should do well here. We're going to go a little fuck, marry, kill, and I have not released any of the names here.
God,
I know. This is great.
Have not released any of the names for you guys to prepare, so it should be interesting. Alex, we're going to start with you here because you took a little sprinkle in the last segment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Tyler Higbee, Jared Cook, Rob Gronkowski. Fuck, marry, kill.
I'm going to kill Higbee. I know that much. We'll fuck with Gronk, I guess. I don't fucking know. And then we'll marry Jared Cook. Because Jared Cook, he was a Raider, and you know, Raiders they still hold a special spot in my heart. And Antonio Brown doesn't count because he never played for the Raiders. So, and then but I like Jared Cook, even though you got Michael Thomas there and you still got Emmanuel Sanders. I still like Cook there as a tight end position. Gronk, we don't know if he has it still or not, but there's a lot of weapons there. But if he has anything left, if they're at the 5-yard line and Brady just needs to throw a little thing to Gronk, to 6'7" Gronk, then you know what, so be it. He's going to get you touchdowns. And then Higbee, that's just a waste of my time. I wouldn't even bother with that. I'd rather take Everett over Higbee. I don't even know if Everett's still there.
Yes, he is still there. Chad, do you have any disagreements with that?
No, that's pretty spot on, especially like the whole Gronk thing. Like, who knows what's going to happen there? He hasn't played in like, what, 2 years? 1 year now?
2 or 3 years, something like that. Oh, 1 year?
Been 1 year.
Oh, 1 year. It seems like it's been longer, but maybe that's just right. Just maybe that's because Gronk feels like he's been in the league for like 40 years. I don't know.
I also feel like it's been longer because he hasn't been productive. I mean, he's been out a year, fair. But the year that he was back, he wasn't good. He wasn't even usable in fantasy, and I remember because he was on my team. He had 0 points in the fantasy championship for me. So he was really not usable even the last year that he played.
Not to mention O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Those are two pretty young guys that are actually pretty good for fantasy-wise.
Scott,
I had O.J. Howard a couple years ago.
Do you have a different answer here?
No disagreements from me.
Yeah, I would also kill Tyler Higbee. I think he is completely a wasteland. And have a little fun with Rob Gronkowski, but Jared Cook would be, I think, the clear answer.
Yeah, you're welcome. You guys are welcome. Just sprinkle onto mine.
Chad, let's shift it over to you here. Fuck, marry, kill. Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki, and TJ Hawkinson. How would you answer this one?
I feel like my question's harder, but okay.
You gave me the easy one. Appreciate you, Trey.
Let me get the names again, because Noah Fant, Mike Gesicki, and TJ Hawkinson.
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kill Noah Fant because I have no faith in him. I don't even know what he did last year. I don't expect anything big from him. I feel like he's just basically a blocker on that offense.
Injured.
Let's see. I'll probably I might fuck Hawkinson. Fuck with him a little bit. I don't think he's as good as Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki, as far as athletic ability, he's the best out of that group. So I'm taking him because he can as a tight end, not as super great, but he can go a little bit downfield for you. He can catch the ball, make a little bit of a run with it. So marry him.
Scott?
I don't really know what to say at this point. I agree with you that Mike Gesicki, more athletic, can go downfield more. So I agree with that point.
Okay. I would kill TJ Hawkinson. I think that one's pretty easy for me. Last year he had 32 receptions for 367 yards as the 8th pick in the draft, as a guy they really wanted in the offense. But the craziest part about this is week 1 he had 6 catches for 131 yards. So imagine what the rest of his year looked like if you take just one game away. It was dog shit. And I said before the draft I didn't think he was any good, and he was really actually bad the whole year. Fant, I think, has a shot here to be something. I like his athleticism, but Gesicki would be the guy I'm all over here. I think he was really took a big step forward as a sophomore. Huge target, 6'6" monster. And really in Miami, he's the second guy, I think. Preston Williams maybe, but in Miami, or look in Denver, you got Judi and Cortland Sutton. In Detroit, you got Kenny Galladay. In Miami, it's really Devontae Parker and Gesicki. Those are the guys. So Gesicki would be my answer.
Also, I think Denver, did they draft KJ Hamler?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
They doubled up at receiver.
And
fuck the Broncos.
They also took Albert Okui-Bunum as a second tight end. So
God bless you.
Look, there's only one tight end that you ever need in your life, and that's Zach Ertz. So
not Dallas Goedert.
He's all right. He's not there yet. He's not Ertz. Plus, I don't have him in fantasy. So
who cares?
Speaking of Dallas Goedert, Scott, we're gonna jump over to you here. Fuck, marry, kill. That was bad. Dallas Goedert, Hayden Hurst, and Austin Hooper.
You got
Austin
an easy
Hooper,
question
you're
too.
Dead. Austin Hooper, you're dead. He basically only gets what defenses allow him. He'll just sit in between zones. He's not gonna make plays by himself. He essentially can test out your system, see how good it is for tight ends, because that's basically how his production's gonna go. You said Dallas Goedert, and what was the other name?
Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst.
Garbage.
Thanks for that.
Listen, the tight end position is hard. That's why we came up with the game. So
yeah. I'll marry Hayden Hurst because Dallas Goedert is behind Zach Ertz, so not much there. And then Hayden Hurst is going to Atlanta and replacing Austin Hooper he got traded to Atlanta, correct? Yeah. So he's going there to replace Austin Hooper. So I feel he'll get some solid production because Austin Hooper, I feel, was a product of that Atlanta scheme and just being able to sit in a hole between zones. Hayden Hurst can definitely do that.
Chad? Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then Dallas Goedert, leave it at that.
Yeah, you're fucking with him. You're fucking with him a little bit.
Chad?
I'd marry Dallas Goedert. No homo, but like.
It took this long for someone to say no homo when we've been talking about fucking and marrying guys. It's all right though, you know.
Oh, good.
No, for real. Like, I mean, Dallas Goedert, he had more touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, than Zach Ertz did last year, even as the second tight end on the depth chart. And the Eagles run a ton of 21 personnel. There's two tight. Well, I mean, last year they kind of had to do it out of necessity, but I feel like that's not going to change. I think they like having both Goddard and Ertz on the field, so they make plays for Goddard. They design plays for him because although Zach Ertz, I love him to death, but he's your possession tight end. He'll catch the ball no matter what. He'll get the yards of the catch. He gets 0 yak, no yards after the catch for Zach Ertz.
Yeah, that one Super Bowl play.
Right. Goddard, he's your yards after the catch guy. He breaks tackles. He's shifty. He's slippery. He'll take a 5-yard pass and turn it into 15. So I would marry Goddard, but of course I'm biased, so I don't know.
Any answer for Hurst and Hooper?
Hooper, I would kill him too. As far as Hurst is concerned, I agree with that as well.
Alex,
he's gonna fill a
I don't know
spot left by Hooper.
When I think of Hooper and I think of Hurst, I think Hooper's a lot better than Hurst. I think I just don't see Hurst just coming alive in Atlanta. Even though you got Matt Ryan throwing the ball, you still have Julio Jones and you have Calvin Ridley there. And I throw it to another wide receiver that I couldn't name on the Falcons right now than to fucking Hayden Hurst. And I just think Cooper is going to benefit more. But that's just me. I don't like Hurst all that much, though. I didn't think he was that good.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's that great either, but Matt Ryan loves his tight ends. Forever, he's loved his tight ends. Even when he had Julio and Roddy White, loved his tight ends.
Well, I mean, they had
Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez. So, I mean, it was just like,
how do you not love your tight ends?
How do you not love him, right?
Hey, man, habits are hard to break. He's used to just throwing to that tight end. It doesn't matter who's out there. He's just going to throw it to him.
Well, it doesn't help you if it's not PPR. So there you go. Drop Mike.
Okay.
25-yard routes.
I would kill Austin Hooper, and I don't even want to say it, but I think Kevin Stefanski comes over from Minnesota. We saw them use a lot of 2 tight end sets, Irv Smith, Kyle Rudolph. I think Hooper's actually going to be in the timeshare. I don't see how David Njoku just goes away. And there's a lot of weapons there. Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry. How many catches is Austin Hooper really going to have? How many targets is he really going to have? I think they really overpaid for him. I think it was a dumb signing. Hayden Hurst, I don't think he's talented, but because he starts, I'll give him the, fuck with him a little bit. Dallas Goedert would be the one I'd marry. And I know I don't love, he's in the timeshare. He's not the starter, but I don't think Philadelphia can afford Ertz and Goddard moving forward. Eventually, when Goddard's contract runs out, or they could end up keeping Goddard and move on from Ertz as he gets into his 30s, which is I don't think is impossible. Dallas Goedert, people don't understand this, but that fucking guy's good. He was the number 1 tight end yards after the catch. He is a monster in the open field, and I don't think he's just going away in this offense. I think, as Chad said, they run a lot of 2 tight end sets. He had more touchdowns than Zach Ertz. I don't think it's impossible. He's a top 6-7 tight end in fantasy, even with Ertz there, and it's a good quarterback situation. And long-term, I really love him because I think he's going to get paid whether Philadelphia keeps him or not.
That's a good point that you brought up, Trey. I did kind of forget. I mean, I don't know, Scott, I know you're in Ohio, right? And then Alex, you said you're in Texas.
He's in Canada.
He's in Canada.
I'm a little
not
farther
dealing with
north.
the shit show in America right now. It's amazing.
Well, good for you, Scott. But one thing that Trey brought up that I completely forgot about for a second until he mentioned it. There was a lot of talk in the Philly area about potentially moving Zach Ertz this offseason. 4 picks, 4 players, wide receivers, etc. There was a lot of talk about trading Zach Ertz this year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that before the season starts, he could be moved.
And he'll get you buckets. He'll get you a shit ton of picks. And Philadelphia has a lot of cap issues going forward. They're not going to be able to pay everybody. It's just a reality.
Howie Roseman has been pulling money out of his ass to pay these guys. Like
some offshore accounts.
Right. So, I mean, it's a possibility, a major possibility. And I hate to say it because I just got a fucking Zach Ertz jersey for Christmas last year. So I hate to say that he might not be here next year, but it's a possibility. Fortunately, I also got a Dallas Goedert jersey for Christmas this year. So
you're set.
Big brain.
You're set.
Big brain.
All right, last one for the tight ends, and I guess I'll start because I've been letting you guys go first here. Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, and Blake Jarwin. I will start, and I'll say I think Eric Ebron has a good year in Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
Maybe that's great. You know what? I'm going to take it back. I'm going to go with
okay.
I'm going to go with Blake Jarwin. And the reason why is, you know what? He's in Dallas, and there's a lot of, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, but Jason Witten had good fantasy years, and Dallas has had talent forever. Blake Jarwin, I don't know if he has the talent to get it done, but Jason Witten's no longer on the roster. If he actually breaks out the way Dallas thinks that he can, and they just gave him $24 million, they obviously believe in him. I think he's a real X factor for this offense. Eric Ebron, I'll give you the mess around with. Maybe he's a better version of Heath Miller. Jack Doyle, I don't want at all. And just because I don't see any upside with Jack Doyle. He just is what he is. And it's a shaky quarterback situation to begin with. Scott, go ahead.
So I love how we just went fuck, marry, kill, and you didn't use any of those 3 words.
I know he was just like he buys.
Just like I like this guy.
Trey's just trying to play us right now. That's all it is.
That's what
I know. Like as soon as I saw this, I'm like, shit. All right. But I love Eric Ebron. Some Steelers bias, but I think he's going to have a great year in Pittsburgh. Big Ben loves tight ends. Heath Miller. And Eric Ebron, I'd say he's a definite upgrade over Vance McDonald, who is not an amazing tight end and also some health issues, which was the story of the Pittsburgh Steelers team last year, but we're not going to go into that. Blake Jarwin, I like him. In Dallas, starting number 1 tight end, Dak has the ability to put up monster numbers, as we saw last year. And you don't have big old Jason Witten eating up snaps and targets. And then Jack Doyle, same reason, shaky quarterback situation. And that's really all there is to it.
Chad?
I mean, I would go marry, if we had to marry Ebron, because I think he's the most talented one out of that group. Like Scott said, I think Big Ben, he loves throwing to the tight ends. He's always loved throwing to his tight ends. The only difference with that is because I had Big Ben in fantasy last year and he got a non-contact injury. He got a non-contact injury. I don't trust him to stay healthy, especially because he's almost 5,000 at this point. But
me too.
I mean, even if it's a backup quarterbacks, they rely heavily on the tight end. So even if it's not Big Ben throwing the ball, they're going to be looking to throw it to their tight end. As far as Blake Jarwin, I mean, I'd mess with him a little bit just because, like you said, he has the second best fit, I think. But, I mean, otherwise, I still don't think Dallas is going to be incorporating the tight end all that much. These past few years, they've been trying to get play out of their tight ends, but they haven't gotten any. They're just not really giving them the ball like they used to back in Jason Witten's heyday with Tony Romo. So I really don't see that changing now that they have more mouths to feed as far as wide receivers are concerned, especially after they took a guy in the first round. So,
Alex?
I'll marry Eric Ebron for the same reason. We've already talked enough about Ebron. I'd fuck with Jack Doyle though, just because yes, you got Phillip Rivers there, but he's not terrible. Okay, he's better than Jacoby Brissett, and as far as receiving options, that's not saying much, but he could still throw. And then, but he's just Jack Doyle. I think he's higher up on the receiving order. For Blake Jarwin, I mean, you have kind of what Chad was saying is that you got Amari Cooper there, you got Michael Gallup, and you got CeeDee Lamb there, and then maybe as a fourth option you have Blake Jarwin. I don't see him being that big step for Dallas. I mean, there's a lot more people I'd rather throw to than Blake Jarwin. And that was even last year. He wasn't even, putting up significant numbers. I think Jack Doyle would be a lot better in that aspect.
All right. It's time for our favorite segment. Hopefully I didn't mess this up.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Beautiful.
That was actually great.
That was beautiful. I like it.
Who the fuck is that guy? Guy that nobody has ever heard of. Guy that nobody will ever draft, but somehow, some way, he'll win you your fantasy league. Alex, what do you have?
Okay, I did better this time, guys. I try to pick someone.
We'll be the judge of that.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, right. I know. Okay, this guy's from the Packers. I don't know how to say his last name, but it's Jake, and it's like Kumaro or something like that.
You got it.
Kumarov?
Huh? Kumarov.
Jake Kumaro. You got it.
Kumaro, I did. All right, cool. I like him just because he is a super tall guy. I mean, there's really no other reason why I would draft him unless I expected him to get touchdowns. He's like 6'5", huge guy. I just expect him to go get touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. That's all, and that's literally the only reason why I picked him is because he was really tall.
Chad?
You're going to have to give me a minute on this because this one I had no idea what it was. So
I got another one.
No. You do one per week.
Okay.
All right. Scott, go ahead.
Going on the Coin Team's website, 5'11", 6th round pick, 2019, Scotty Miller, wide receiver. Trey, your face says I have no idea who the fuck you're talking about.
Who is he from?
I believe he's a little white guy.
Yeah, basically he's a little white slot receiver.
Yeah.
From Bowling Green.
What team is he on?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So at his pro day, he ran a 4.3 40. And we all know Brady from his time in New England loves the little slot wide receivers. Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. So I feel, because look, I don't know if Tom Brady has the arm to just chuck it deep. So he's going to rely a lot, short, intermediate, slot, inside, Scotty Miller.
Chad, do you have one or should I go?
Go ahead and go. I'm still looking.
All right. I'm going to say the name and you guys tell me if you know what team he's on because I think it's a little
fun.
Yeah, I think it's better that way. I'm going to go with Damiere Byrd.
Who the fuck?
Titans.
He's a rookie.
No, he is not.
Titans.
Anybody have a guess what team he's on?
Titans.
No.
I have no.
How many times are you going to say Titans?
Wrong bird. That's the wrong bird.
Okay, well, anyway, he plays for the New England Patriots, and what have we said constantly? They need weapons. They need weapons. They need weapons. Well, here comes Damiere Byrd. First started out undrafted guy, played a little bit for Carolina, most recently played for Arizona, and he actually played decently well, took some snaps away from some of their rookies. Andy Isabella basically didn't see the field because Damiere Byrd played. He had 32 receptions quietly for the Cardinals this year. New England signed him this offseason. Say whatever we want. Bill Belichick, I don't think he really knows what he's doing personnel-wise anymore. I think he's lost it a little bit. But when he signs a little low-radar guy, like a Damiere Byrd, like a Wes Welker back in the day, Julian Edelman, he's gotten some of these right. Maybe he can play a role in the offense. And do we really believe in N'Keal Harry? I didn't think he was good coming out of college. Mohamed Sanu, he didn't perform very well.
Not worth a second rounder.
Julian Edelman is on his last legs. I think this is a guy who could actually play a role in the offense. What happens? Week 14, he just has a 2-touchdown game, and he wins you a playoff game. So there it is, Damiere Byrd. Chad, do you have one?
I found my guy.
Okay.
I found him. He's a Redskin, Steven Sims Jr.
I just said him earlier in the show.
My bad. Fuck. Then I don't have my guy.
Don't worry. I had a blunder last week. Don't worry.
No, you had a team's number one receiver.
Hey,
to
listen.
be fair, I was looking at my phone while you were talking so I could try to find my guy. So I didn't really hear. Give me a second. I'll try to see if I can find another guy.
Well, since Chad's looking, go ahead, Alex.
What, me? Oh, my second one? Okay. Well, actually, you might know him, Trey, but I was also thinking of Miles Boykin.
That's weak.
That's why I did the other one first.
He was a third-round pick last year.
And what did he do last year? Nothing.
Well, people know who he is.
I didn't know who he was.
That's because you're a Raiders fan. If they don't wear the silver and black, you don't give a fuck.
That's true. I will say that. I don't give a fuck about Raider Nation till I die.
As you're wearing all pink.
All right,
and
Chad, it's on you. Do we have
I don't have a guy. I don't have enough time to just try to find one on the spot, unfortunately.
Well, now you know what the segment is. He's better prepared next week.
Next week, yeah, I got you next week.
Yeah.
You can't do worse than Alex.
Huh?
Hey, I think I was pretty solid right up until that very last one.
No,
so.
I thought it was a decent pick. Last time, Alex threw out Brashad Perriman, who's the Jets' number one right now. Come on.
Who? The Jets suck. That's my whole thing.
Okay, but he's the number one receiver, and he was a first-round pick.
He still sucks.
People know who he is.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's good or not, it doesn't matter. We just know who the fuck he is.
I don't think so.
All right, good episode. Any closing thoughts from anybody? Any disagreements, some arguments? You want to take some shots? Now's your chance to do so.
I don't know. I feel like we've been taking shots.
Going 6 and 10.
We've been just taking shots at me the whole time. I mean, like, it's okay.
I don't see any issue with that.
The 6 and 10 Raiders? Are you serious?
I can see it.
No, how? We were 7 and 9 last year. We upgraded the roster. How are we gonna go back a win?
Chargers gotten better. Broncos
they
have
suck.
gotten better.
What?
Chiefs
Justin Herbert? Are you serious? Tyrod Taylor? No way, bro. I'm not doing it. Nope.
Watch the Chargers sweep the Raiders.
I would laugh.
Watch it.
Because it won't happen.
Watch it happen.
It won't.
I just don't trust John Gruden as coach, to be fair.
I don't trust Derek Carr.
Anymore.
I'm not actually. I
don't
trust that defense either.
I'm actually kind of a fan of Derek Carr. I think what he did last year with the talent that he had available, I think he could have been worse. So,
God forbid, man. Defense was terrible last year, and they upgraded it. I don't know.
There's a couple games they lost last year where Derek Carr put them ahead, and then their defense gave up like 75-yard touchdowns.
Thank you. Chad, thank you.
That happened a few times last year, so I don't think it's all on Derek Carr.
And I said 8-8 last year. You said it happened a couple of times. We could have at least been 8-8. So that's all I'm saying.
All right, that's going to do it for the show this week. Let's have a little poll in the Twitter section when I upload this.
Raiders going to be?
That's not the question I was thinking of. I was more so thinking of who brings a better hat to the table. Is it Chad's little T-Rex hat, or is it Alex's cat ears? So we're gonna post that poll then.
Well, Alex's cat ears aren't a hat; they're part of his headphones, so it's not really.
It's part of it.
It's
part of the head. Yeah,
they're
considering what I've got going on, he's got a hat. Considering with his hair, so
this is my most outlandish hat. I actually have a crown too. I didn't wear that.
You got to wear the crown next time.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
I don't know how that would work over the headphones, but I'll try.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. You got it. I believe in you.
I'm perch it precariously on top of my headphones. We'll see what happens.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week. Next week, we will get into some different topics. We'll, again, make sure to follow the website, vendettasportsmedia.com, media_vendetta on Twitter. Chad, Twitter handle, Lowfooted, LLFWOTED.
Yes.
Scott Logush, Logush52, I believe.
Yep.
And Chicks Tape Pod with 0 episodes. So make sure to follow that. And thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.